Hello, we are at the church in hospital, Waterford Hospital. My name is Dr. Ivonne Pozerski, and I was thinking it's good to meet here. I was thinking to start with showing you the hospital, but like outside of hospital, but the rain is outside, so probably we can start here. We're going to talk about depression. So often I can see many people with depression in hospital. They come to ED. I can see them when they are admitted for different reasons in medical wards. So what exactly is depression? Depression is mood disorder classified in DSM-5 or ICD-11. So all this is very medical stuff. But this is the time when you feel very low in your mood, when you're sad, but you can't enjoy your life, you can't do things that brought you pleasure before. You can't eat, you can't sleep. Often you could have anxiety. You can't clearly think. You feel like your concentration is not great, your memory is not great. And all of it needs to last at least for 2 weeks to get the formal diagnosis of depression. Sometimes you could feel so low that you start thinking, wishing to die, and to the extreme that you could think, oh, I might take my own life. So this is depression. We see depressed people often. So depression is quite often mental health disorder occurring around the world. In Ireland, prevalence is 6%, which doesn't place us at the top of the list. I was quite surprised to learn that the country with the highest prevalence of depression is Greece. You couldn't believe where the sunshine is all around the year. And still, the percentage of people suffering from depression is quite high. Yes, so Ireland is not too bad, but also we like in the middle of the list. There are countries in the world where depression is occurs more often, and mostly in developing countries, African countries, but also Brazil in South America. In Europe, Greece, but also Hungary is on the top of the list. So we know that if people are depressed, they could think, consider or wishing for dying, but also they could consider to take their own lives, which is so dangerous. So we know that 800,000 people worldwide take their own lives every single year. This is a lot of deaths. And in Ireland, we have statistics, so Irish Registry for Suicide and Self-Harm. collects data from all the hospitals, all emergency departments and departments of psychiatry, and for the last 20 years. And we know that the trend is rising. The trend is rising, mostly for young people. This is a big concern. Because people as young as 15, 13, they could experience suicidal thoughts, and they commit suicide, or they self-harm. So this group, young people up to 24, this group self-harm and suicide attempts are on the rise. However, the group that takes perform suicide attempts or self-harm is the group women, middle-age like myself, mid-age group. So probably because this is the change time, there could be the problem with relationship, or women who are unemployed. Why depression is so often? We Christian, we know the answer. We're lucky because we know the answer. So you know that the Bible tells us that there is curse, fall, sin, and we are not perfect. There will be always problems, sickness, poverty, struggling, and we know this. This is the book that probably you will hear more from Colin, and I found this very useful when I was thinking about this presentation. So one of the first chapters talks about the curse. Interestingly, secular people, they think similarly, but they use different words, obviously. So it's another book. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, it's Gabor Mate, very famous, like a trauma expert, and he talks about toxic culture as a reason why people suffer all these mental health, but also health problems. So in this book, this big book, he talks about toxic culture, like addiction, alcohol, drugs, abuse, trauma, lack of love, not caring for children, sending them early to school, and all these diseases. And so the words the secular researchers use, they use different words, but we know as a Christian, we know they're talking about the sin. But interestingly enough, this man is Jew, and he was born in Hungary, but then migrated with his family. He was only 13 when he migrated to Canada, so he is Canadian. But in this thick book, there is nothing about God whatsoever. That is all about all these traumas and all this fallen world. I think we have somebody, but that's still okay. And he also tries to find a way how we as a people could help ourselves, but also could help the community. One of the solution they talk about treatment. So I will talk about the treatment that they propose, but also about treatment that is available. I know that my colleague Jana will talk about psychotherapy. I believe in psychotherapy. I'm a psychotherapist myself, but also I'm a medical doctor. So I really believe in medications, and I saw so many success treatments of medication. So just few words about antidepressants. Nowadays we have modern antidepressants. So if you think about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, antidepressants were very heavy. You would take them, but you would feel very sedative. You had dry mouth. You had a stomach problem. You had low blood pressure. This sort of stuff. Nowadays, it's not so often. So we have very modern medication. The more popular group is SSRI, we call it, and you have the first of SSRI, Prozac, fluoxetine. So probably everyone heard about the name, and it was like medication that saves so many lives. So antidepressants, they work. They don't work straight away, so that's the thing. You need to be on them at least for 2 weeks, and then you will see the effect. And you can't stop them abruptly. Once they work, you need to continue, even though you feel much better. But we also have other medications. We have medication to help you with your sleep. We have medication to address your anxiety. And those medications, they work straight away. So you can use this and you feel much better. Why we use the medication? So firstly, because they work quicker than psychotherapy. I hope that Jana will agree with me. And there are cases that people are so unwell that they can't really go through psychotherapy because they can't think logically, they can't concentrate. So we need to help them and improve them to the point that they can go through psychotherapy and talk about traumas and talk about other things. Yeah, and that's the guru, or not conventional medicine, I'll say. They propose psychedelics, and psychedelics, interestingly enough, are registered with Royal College of Psychiatrists in Australia. So they are you can treat people with them. And so people who want to be free from all this mental health and other health problems, they go and they take psychedelics. And one of the person who had this experience described like it is like meeting a God without believing in him. So even if they experience things, they still don't believe in God. Another one said, white people go to church to talk about Jesus, but there was indigenous North American Indian, and he said, we go to our ceremonies to talk with Jesus, which obviously shows us that they don't know what they are talking about, because we go to church to talk to Jesus, and Jesus listens to us. So all these people, they try to find a cure, they try to find healing, but it's difficult without believing in Jesus. However, and you can see this quite often, you can hear them talking about nature, about spiritual, about a soul, divine, and this sort of stuff, without acknowledge that this is actually God who created the world. And now a bit about how we can help those people. So I talk about medications. You can have access to my team through ED. So here in Waterford, in ED, we have mental health nurses and mental health doctors 24/7. So we are here. You can come. There is no referral required. And you are assessed by mental health professional. Some people with depression, they are also here in hospital, like they are admitted with other problems, and my team goes and see them as well. If you feel that you need to talk to a professional, so probably the best is to go and see your GP first, and then GP could write a referral and send you to mental health here. There are other services in Ireland. There is helpline. There are services for counseling, but most of them, or some of them, they are self-referred. So you can call them or you can walk in. But probably the best is to talk to your GP. But remember, in the emergency, there is always ED. And mental health team is based in Waterford Hospital. So how we go and see people, I said, you can recognize us, we are Christians. And we offer our medication, we offer our care, but often we also offer prayer. There's not only once that I prayed for my patients. I remember patient, specifically one who was paralyzed from neck down to toes and was so anxious. So when I started to pray for him. He gave me permission because he just blinked his eyes, and all of a sudden his blood pressure went down, like his heart rate, heart count. And so we pray for our patients. We come also here to pray. Not only we pray at the bedside, but also we come to the church to pray for our patients. And there are people from your church who are depressed. I know because I met them. I met 19-year-old girl, homeless, took overdose. She took overdose. And I know that she goes to church because I ask her, and she says, this is the only time that I feel well, when I'm with people. And I ask, do they know about your youth struggling with depression? She said, no, it's so ashamed to talk about this. I met another one from your church, one of the churches in Waterford, and she said, no, I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to bother them. They are so busy with their own business. You can see people from all the churches here, and they are Christians. But some they tell you, oh, I'm Christian, but I don't go to church. Why don't you go to church? Because I did such and such a things, and I can't be forgiven. But we tell them, yes, you can. God, if you pray, will forgive you. I was sometimes wondering why is possible that that people at church don't know that you struggle. I think we don't ask. So it's okay to ask how you're feeling, and if you feel that this person is depressed, even to ask, maybe not like, do you want to kill yourself? It's very harsh, but maybe I know that some people, depressed people, they may wish for death or they don't want to live. And if they say, yes, it's me, so maybe this is time to talk to them more and encourage them to seek professional help. All right, I hope to see you for the question section at the end of this seminar. Thank you.